Today, what we're going to do is we're going to take standard form and turn it into vertex form. Standard form is when we have the x squared minus 8x plus 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into vertex form, where we're quickly able to find the vertex. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that standard form, turn it into vertex form by completing the square. First step is we're going to find our new c value. Then we're going to add that to both sides of the equation. We're going to factor it and turn it into a square binomial. That's why it's called completing the square. And then we're going to get the y by itself. So if we look at our first example, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find our new c value. So we take our b value, we divide it by 2, and we square it. We're just using the formula right up here. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that to both sides of the equation. So we have 4 plus y equals x squared plus 4x plus 4. We're putting the 4 there. And then what we do is we put the 1. So once again, what we're doing is we're taking our c value and we're adding it on both sides of the equation. Our next step is we're going to factor it into a square binomial. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply together, give us 4, and add up to 4. So we're taking this trinomial right here, and we're factoring it. If we're doing it correctly, it always ends up with the same number. So what we have is x plus 2 squared plus 1. Then what we're going to do is we're going to continue to get the y by itself by subtracting the 4, and that gives us y equals x plus 2 squared minus 3. And so we turned standard form into vertex form. Let's look at another example. Once again, our first step is using our formula in order to find a new c value. So we take our b value, which in this case is negative 6, and we divide it by 2. It's always 2, and we square it. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, squared is 9. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 9 and we're going to add it on both sides of the equation. Our next step is we're going to factor it. We're looking for two numbers that multiply together, give us 9, add up to negative 6. Once again, we're using this trinomial and we're factoring it into a square binomial. So that would be negative 3 and negative 3. So that gives us x minus 3 squared, and then we put minus 3. Then in order to get the y by itself, we're going to subtract the 9. And we get y equals x minus 3 squared minus 12. And that right there is our answer. Let's look at one more. When we're looking at this, once again, our first step is to come up with a new c value, and we're doing it based off of our b value. So we go c equals, we take our b value, divide it by 2, and we square it. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Squared gives us a 1. So we add the 1 on both sides of the equation. And then after we do that, we factor it. Two numbers that multiply together give us 1, add up to negative 2. That would be negative 1 and negative 1. Once again, if we're doing it correctly, it's always going to become the same number. So we have x minus 1 squared, and then we have plus 5. Then we subtract the 1, and that gives us y equals x minus 1 squared plus 4. And that right there is our answer.